Hi guys, it's Emily from Novel Novels and welcome to today's video. This is my May book haul, 40 books. Yes, I was going to try and get it down. Then I went book shopping with Gemma at the end of April and it had to go on today's the haul list. So I'm filming this on the 28th and the good news is I've only got 4 books that are going on June's book haul. But I am going to Henley next week. But I'm going the day before the month, so that doesn't really count, does it? Does it? It's not bad for someone who works in a charity for like 1 day a week. I am trying to stick to my charity shop books of only getting like 2 or 3 books a week rather than going mad every week, and it is curbing my buying because I know which books I'll get in the charity shop and which books I can wait for. Now I got 9 gifts this month, which I can't wait to show you, and the rest I've found some real bargains this month and so many books that I'm so excited about. Now, because I have 40 books to show you, I won't be going into too much detail, but if there are any you want to know more about, please let me know in the comments down below. If there are any you think I should buddy read, you want to buddy read with me, let me know down below. And lastly, if there are any of these you think I should prioritise, let me know. So, let's show you the gifted books. Now, I received a belated birthday and Christmas haul from Charlie from Charles Heathcote, and he sent me 4 books. First one is The Seven Sisters by Lucinda Riley, which I have heard so much about this whole series. I'm not going to start reading this until I've got more in the series because I've been told that once you start them, you don't want to put them down. So that's now my hunt, is to look for all of them. It's basically about the 7 sisters. Maya and 6 sisters gather together at their childhood home, a fabulous secluded castle situated on the shores of Lake Geneva, having been told that their beloved adopted father, a billionaire, has died. Each one of them has a tantalising clue to their true heritage. And it's 80 years earlier in 1927. Okay, so I don't want to know too much about that. That's the first one, and I'm going to tell my son off because Thomas is in the background. No more. Then I know he loves Elizabeth Taylor's books, so he sent me one of the Elizabeth Taylor books, The Soul of Kindness. So I'm looking forward to trying this. I don't know too much about her work, but I do know that Charlie absolutely raves about her. It's a short book, and it will be one I'll be flying through. Then he sent me 2 books by friends of his that are non-published authors. The first one is Morgan, and then that is by Joy Winkler, and this is someone he speaks about a lot on his channel, a friend of his. Morgan grows up believing she is an evil child, worthy of punishment. Why else would her father disown her? Why else would her mother not answer her letters? When she meets her blind grandmother Grace, she is delighted at last that she has a true family, but sadly her happiness is only short-lived. Don't want to know too much, but if Charlie is raving about it, it's going to be good. And then by, I think, John Winkler, I don't know if that's Joy's husband or whatever else. This is historical fiction and set at the time of World War II. Johan and his best friend Hans get together with Johan's 3 sisters, find their idyllic rural life torn apart by the intervention of World War II. That's set in Romania in 1943. So Charlie has said this one's the one to prioritise, I think. Now, Mia's best friend, Amelia, has a lovely mum, Lisa, who is, there's Thomas, who I love sharing all my books to. She loves going away and reading. She loves a lot of the same books as me, and I've been giving her quite a lot of my contemporary books that I've read and some of my historical fiction. And she has raved about Victoria Hislop. So, as a gift, she decided to buy me this. And this is The Island by Victoria Hislop. And this has been spoken about. I've seen it in my charity shop quite a lot. And this is 50... It's in a leper colony, life on Springalong. 50 years later marks a life-changing journey of her own. Alexis Fielding fills the pool of an abandoned island, a distant shadow off the coast of Crete. She knows that it holds the secrets to her mother's past, buried for so long but not forgotten. I want to know if I like this author's work because we've got a lot of these in the charity shop, and I want to know if I should carry on. Then Gemma from Read a Book Gem, as always, got me 2 books as gifts when we meet it up. This is such a me book, it's unbelievable. M is for Mummy. It's a really new release, and it's apparently honest, heartfelt, and bloody hilarious. Apparently, it's a real take on motherhood. Since giving birth to her second child, Lucy's life is unrecognisable. The romance in her marriage is officially dead, and so is the career it took her years to build. Yeah, so I don't want to know too much. This is going to be a mummy book that I really need to get to. And then she got me another one. Let's pretend. When you fake it for a living, the truth is hard to find. I don't know hardly anything about that. You know, you're like me. I've always known that. Desperate. Not even a year later, and I started Adam's lifeless body in the swimming pool. His ring on my finger. I couldn't pin down the moment when there was no going back. I don't know hardly anything about this. This is how relationships start. First an audition, then the performance. Don't know too much about it, but Gemma's given it to me, so I know I'm going to love it. And now the joy. Sorry about the joy of Thomas in the background. Now I'm not going to go too much into how many numbers of each books I've got. If I can, I'll try and show you. But I've got 2 thrillers this month, 2 blooming gorgeous classics, and 2 fantasy. 1 YA fantasy and 1 middle grade fantasy. So these are the hish pish, and then it's contemporaries and historical fiction. Actually, I can go. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 historical fiction. 1, 2. No, that's not 1. That's a classic. It's a children's classic, actually. So, I'll go through the tell you the contemporary numbers in a minute. But I did get 2 thrillers, and the first one is Sally Hepworth's one, which I liked one of Sally Hepworth's other thrillers. So this looks really good. It's quite a new release, actually. When they first met, Lucy's mother-in-law, Diana, never really approved of her. That was 5 years ago. Now Diana has been found dead, a suicide note near her body claiming she no longer wanted to live because of her battle with breast cancer. But the autopsy finds no cancer. The autopsy does find traces of poison and suffocation. Ooh, scary. Scary, but so good. Then I got the second in the Karen McManus series. Oh, God. This is just typical, isn't it? And this is the 2 Keep Secret. I haven't even read the first one yet, but it's a gorgeous copy. I've got the first in the series, so to find the second for like a pound, I had to get it. Don't want to know any more than that. Literally do not want to know any more than that. Then I've got 2 gorgeous classics, because you guys know I love Silas Marner. So I picked up Daniel Deronda, because I had to read Silas Marner for that. Thomas, stop that, please. Sorry about that. And look, it's a Wordsworth Classic edition, which you guys know I'm collecting. It's George Eliot's final novel, Daniel Deronda. I don't need to know any more than that. It looks absolutely stunning. It's a massive book, but I loved Silas Marner, so I want to get more of this author's classics. Then I was looking through the charity shop where I work, and I was looking at the back, and I was looking at a lot of the classics. We've got some classics, and I found The Law and the Lady by Wilkie Collins. Now, you guys know I love the Moonstone. This is another set of classics that I'm collecting. This is the Penguins classics and this is The Law and the Lady. And I don't need to know too much about it. I love the Moonstone. Despite her grave misgivings of both their families, Valeria Brinton and Eustace Woodville are married. But before long, the new bride begins to uncover a deep, dark secret about her husband's past. I don't want to know any more. This looks fantastic. I've got it for £1. Woohoo! Then I thought I'd pick up a YA fantasy, and this is, you know I love my fairy tale retellings. This is Wicked. There is the second in this series at the charity shop where I work. Do I get it? Do any of you know what Wicked's like? I know this is the retelling of Dorothy's, the worst witch in Dorothy in Wizard of Oz. Long before Dorothy drops in, the girl is born in Oz with an emerald green skin. Elphaba, who will grow up to become an infamous witch, who is smart, prickly, and misunderstood creature who challenges all our perceived concept of the nature of good and evil. I'm going to kill him. So this looks great. Do I pick up the second one though? Now, I had to buy this full price. I bought this on Amazon because, well, you know I love Sophie Anderson's works. I still don't actually own The House with Chicken Legs because I borrowed it from my sister. But I've loved all the author's works, and this looked gorgeous. The island of Morovia is shaped like a broken heart. The humans live on one side and the Alkonos, the bird people, live on the other. But it wasn't always this way. Lynette wishes she could sing magic, but magic is forbidden, and she has been banished with her father to the mournful swamp. She misses her old life and dreams of reuniting with her friends. This looks gorgeous. I can't wait to read that. Now, here we go for the historical fiction. And Thomas is going to... I got The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. I love The Nightingale. I've literally just read The Four Winds, and you would have heard about that in my wrap up. So I picked up The Great Alone when I went out shopping with Gemma. All I Need to Know. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's historical fiction. 13-year-old Lenny is coming of age in a tumultuous time, caught in the riptide of her parents' passionate story relationship. She dares to hope that Alaska will have a better future for her family and a place to belong. Don't need to know any more than that. I'm budgie reading that with Danny at some point. Then my boss at the charity shop found me this at the end of April, kind of, so it's another one that carried over. I love Jojo Moy's work. This is one that became into a film. When journalist Ellie looks through her newspaper archives for a story, she doesn't think she'll find anything of interest. Instead, she discovers a letter from 1960 written by a man asking his lover to leave her husband, and Ellie is caught between the intrigue of a passionate love affair. In 1960, Jennifer wakes up in hospital after a car accident. She can't remember anything. I don't want any more than that. It looks fantastic. Then we got, I don't need to tell you too much about this one. It's Songbirds by Christy Lefretti, who wrote The Beekeeper of Aleppo. I literally have heard non-stop amazing things about this book, and I found it for about £1. No, Thomas. Nisha has crossed oceans to give her child a future, but by day she cares for Petra's daughter. At night she mothers her own little girl by the light of a phone. This looks amazing, and I can't believe I found that for £1. The same day I found Songbirds, the Book of Longings. Now you all know, again, I absolutely loved this author's work. I loved this author's last book, and to do with bees, Secret Life of Bees. I love that. And this is an adult book, and it's Anna was born in Gailey at the time when women are seen as possessions, only leaving their father's home to marry. Anna longs to control her destiny, and she wants to become a writer and to find her own voice. This looks amazing. Danny's now got a copy of this, so we'll be reading this together. Found that. Now this is another one that Gemma told me to get, from Read Book Gemma told me to get, and Katie from Books and Things has raved about it, so it's got to be good. This is set in the summer of 1959, at well-trimmed lawns of Sunny Lakes, California. It wrought under the sun. At some point during the long afternoon, Joyce Hanley, wife, mother, vanishes from her home. This looks amazing. Don't need to name more than that. Then another one, I loved Julia Kelly's other works, The Light Over London, so I thought I'd pick this up. It's a wartime book set in August 1939. 3 young women are living in the shadow of another devastating war with Germany, a war that could force them to choose between friendship and their country. I don't need to know any more than that. It looks gorgeous. Then this one was a charity one that had been in my window display at my charity shop, and it's got a cool bookshop. It's called Verminy. It is set in London in the 1920s, which is an era I want to read more about. And it's set in a bookshop, and it just looks absolutely gorgeous. I don't need to know any more than that. It's stunning. I will be reading that. Then we've got The Dressmaker by Rosie Ham. I don't know very much about this. This was a bit of a cover buy, which I don't tend to do. It's set in mid-century Donegal. I don't know anything about this. When she was only 10 years old, Tilly Dunnage was forced to leave her hometown of Donegal in rural Scotland after a black cloud of accusation. Years later, she's now a courtier for Paris fashion houses. This looks good. Don't need to know any more than that. That looks good. A bit of a cover buy. This was the last book I officially bought for the month, and this was Greyfriars House. And this is literally my last book I bought. It's got 2 timelines, 1939 and 1984, and it's set on a remote Scottish island, and it's called Greyfriars House. It looks gorgeous. It was one that jumped out at me on the shelves of my charity shop. Dual timelines. Do I need to know any more than that? Now I'm just trying to move this out. And you know that I read the second book in this series, the one Enchanted Evening. I read the next book, so now I've got the first one, so I'm going to try and read that. And this is a gorgeous edition I found. So it's set in London 1936. I read the second book and I loved it, by Anton de Beck. I loved the second book, so it'd be nice to go back and find out the history of the characters that I found in the first book, in the second book. So this is, we've got Raymond de Guise, who is a proper person, and then Nancy Netterton, a new chambermaid. It looks gorgeous. I cannot wait to read it. Now I've got the infamous job of trying to get to my contemporaries, because they are all on a massive pile. I'm trying not to knock them. So I've got one of these as the class, hang on a second. What I can do is I can get these 3 off. One of them is a children's classic. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 contemporaries. That's not bad, is it? 2 non-fictions and 1 children's classic. So firstly, the children's classic. Firstly, the children's classic is What Katie Did at School. I've got all of these Paragon Classics editions, and this is the third and last in the Katie series. And this is Katie and her little sister are sent to her boarding school for a whole year. They're dreading it, a strange place far from home, but they don't know a soul. But Hill's over to... So this was actually what was supposed to be after What Katie Did, and then I think I read them in the wrong order, so I need to get to that. You all know I love my Cathy Glass book, so I found this. And this is I Miss My Mummy, which is one of her older books. Before we began to go downstairs, Alice drew me to a halt, and I looked down at her big brown eyes. Cathy, she asked quietly and innocently, are you going to be my mummy now? And it's about confused 4-year-old Alice who doesn't understand why she can't stay at home with her loving grandparents. And Alice's foster carer doesn't know either. So that looks good. And then we've got The Diaries of a Prisoner by Chris Atkins. This looks really good. I think I remember this being over Facebook at one point. And this is set in the prison services, and it's Chris Atkins. Didn't spend much time, and he was a documentary maker. It looks interesting though. I don't know what's going to be happening in this one, but it does look good. I found that in the charity shops. And now to my millions of contemporaries. Some of them are fantastic bargains, some of them I know I'll be prioritising. This first one, I'm not sure if it's a contemporary or not. My mum's just read this and my sister raved about it. The Traveling Cat Chronicles. I bought it purely because it's about cats, and I love cats. And I believe it's a translated fiction. Nana is on a road trip. But all that matters is he can sit beside his beloved Satura in front of the silver van. And Nana is, I'm guessing, the cat. So I don't want any more than that. It looks good. My mum's just reading it, so I'm looking forward to hearing what she thinks of it. Now this was, again, a cover buy, but it's because it's got disability rep, and that is something that I am very pro in reading about. And this is about a struggling actress who has a life-changing accident, and she finds herself unable to walk, and then she's also there with Maud, an elderly lady. And then and this is where Heidi becomes an amputee, basically. And when Maud's aloof, attractive grandson Taser visits the ward, Heidi realises her life isn't over, but it's just different. It's why I bought it. I can't wait to read that. I'm so pro reading anything with disability rep. Now this one is a new release. It's Jenny Colgan's latest book in this series, and I nearly bought it full price for like £5, and I found it for £2 in Oxfam. And then this is basically another one in the series, so I don't want to talk to you too much about it. But Marissa Rossi decides to find some peace and quiet, and since the death of her beloved grandfather, she's been struggling to find a way out of grief. And then she goes to Mount Paulburn, which is a far cry from the sleepy little place she was imagining. I love this series. Can't wait to read that one. Then we've got another Veronica Henry book, but it's one of her backlist books. And obviously I'm trying to read all her backlist books. This is a Christmas book, so I will be saving it for Christmas. And it's set in Honeycott, which is, I've read about them before. And we've got Lucy Lydiate plans the festive lunch. So it's a Christmas book. Looking forward to reading that. Some point. I'm going to kill Thomas before this day. Not kill him, just going to get shouted at him soon. Now this is the next new release that I will be reading in July, and this is Cathy Brownlee's newest book. Again, I was prepared to pay full price for this, and I got it for £2 in the charity shop. And this is set in the sparkling seaside village of Mel Bay. For Katie, it's the perfect hideout after a childhood trauma left her feeling exposed. For Robin, the fresh sea air is helping her heal her scars, but maybe not her marriage. For Grace, a new start will help her move on from her heartbreaking loss. When they meet on Seagrass Beach one day, they form an instant bond, and soon they're sharing Prosecco, laughter, and even their biggest secrets. That is going to be read in July, so I'm putting that to one side. Because today I'm filming this, I'm already getting my July trolley ready. This was another bit of a cover buy. It was in the window at Baz Books. The Surprise Party. It's about sisters. You know I'm going to read books about sisters. When the family come out to play, mayhem is never too far away. And yeah, women in their 40s, feuding sisters, all I need to know. I love it. Can't wait to read that. Bit of a cover, but this is another one that, again, it jumped out at me because it's Caroline Roberts. I've read one of her books and loved it. But this is Tea Shop at the Castle. I love tea shop books and places like that. And this is Ellie Lancer dream job running the little tea shop on the beautiful but crumbling Clabbersome Castle. Perfect escape from a humdrum job in the city. It's gorgeous. Can't wait to read that. Beach Read by Emily Henry has been all over Booktube a while ago. I've now got it. I can't wait to read it. It's going to be read in August. January is a hopeless romantic who narrates her life like she's leading a blockbuster movie. Guy is a serious literary type who thinks true love is a fairy tale. But January and Gus have more in common than you think. Can't wait to read that. Another one that jumped out at me on the shelves because I thought it was a bit of historical fiction, but it's actually a contemporary. Everyone knows the idea of you, but everyone in the world knows his name. It's kind of a Taylor Jenkins Reid sort of style book, apparently. At 39, Celine Marchand is a devoted mother and a dedicated colleague and a considerate ex-wife. But that's a long time since she felt herself. I get that feeling. Being a mum, you kind of lose yourself, but this looks exciting, and it's kind of, like I said, it's got Taylor Jenkins Reid vibes. After reading a Mari McFarlane book for a tandem read-along, I got this, and I've just remembered I've got 2 books that I haven't shown you here that were gifts, and I'll tell you about them in a minute. And the Here's Looking at You is by Mari McFarlane. It's one of her backlist books again. Despite the oddballs she keeps meeting on dates, Anna couldn't be happier. At 30-something, with a job she loves, life has turned out better than she dared dream. However, things weren't always that way, and a year spent as an Italian galleon in London is one she'd rather forget. I don't want to know too much about that. Again, it's another buy. Then I bought a book for a series that I'm reading, which is The Comfort Food Cafe. That reminds me I need to get the next one to read at the end of this month. A gift from the Comfort Food Cafe. So this is another one somewhere in the series. It was the last one I needed. Growing up, Katie Seddon didn't always have the easiest childhood, but she moved to the village of Budbury, Dorset coast. Okay. So she meets the people at the Comfort Food Cafe. I don't want any more than that. Then lastly, the Saturday Night Sauvignon Sisterhood. You know I love the Why Mummy series. This is the start of a new series. I love Jill Sims books because they are talk about motherhood in the most realist way. And as you can see, being a mother with this little one, you are drawn to drink and distraction and drawn to having fun. And this looks amazing. I don't want to know too much about this series, but I know I'm going to love it. And I forgot to tell you about the 2 books I got sent by Tandem because they're right at the top of this list, and I've made a mess. I also got sent Bread Song and The Summer Fair by Bread Song is by it's a cookery book, and I can't remember, but Kitty and Tate. They are the authors of that. And then I also got sent The Summer Fair by Heidi Swain. Heidi Swain is a new author that I absolutely love. Her book would have been on probably my favourites of the month so far. I loved The Summer Fair. It's probably going to be in my favourite books of the year. I don't need to show you. I know I've talked about it a lot, and I love Heidi Swain. She's a new favourite author. She chats to you on Twitter, on Instagram. She is an amazing author. I'm reading all her backlist books too. Fantastic. Absolutely love her. So that is the 40 books I've read this month. Sorry for all the noise and all the madness. I'm now going to get on and put them all away and try and start my other jobs. But I hope you like this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel and not subscribed yet, ring on my ding-a-ling, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.